This is the latest installment of Unfit to Serve, a series that I'm doing, and I think the rest of those individuals in media should be doing as well, regarding Joe Biden, who has no business driving a car, handling sharp objects, as opposed to much less running for president or being the president again. Let me just say right off the bat, let me just start off with this. This is not meant as mockery. Everybody that we know has somebody in our family, somebody, a friend, a relative, a parent, a grandparent, somebody who has been through some form of degenerative senescence. And it's sad. Some have it early, some don't. Some people show remarkable resiliency later on in life, others don't. I'm not here to mock people who have this. He should not be the president under any circumstances. And I knew this, and we knew this from the days of Corn Pop, but nobody listened to us. Nobody listened. The same way nobody listened to us when Hillary Clinton was exhibiting all kinds of neurological fugues and twitches, but that's for another time. I want to specifically go through this latest iteration of problem. And this is the president when he was speaking this week at a group of people, or before a group of people, who, by the way, as you can probably see, they look like hostages. They look like hostages, and they're forced to hold up signs, and they look as thrilled as somebody about to get an enema. They just look as though like, why am I here? There's no excitement. Also, not a lot of diversity. They were just pulled together. I'll bet you anything. I shouldn't say this. I wouldn't be surprised if these were actual White House staff members who put on a T-shirt and held up a sign. Okay? Because let's face it, nobody in their right mind is for this man. Okay? Let me just say this. Nobody deep down inside says yes. They just say, well, I like him better than Trump, or what are you going to do, or songs, or in that particular key. Now, here we go. United Steelworkers. Here is the president. And it hurts me to say this. Here is the president talking about his uncle. Listen very carefully. This is most fascinating. It seems that when he was speaking, he is about to tell us a story about an uncle of his who may have been eaten by cannibals in Papua New Guinea during World War II. And of course, this, as you can imagine, was met with a bit of a shock. Listen to this very carefully.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, they called him Bosie. My uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along.
Now, let me stop. I hate to do this. Please notice the faces in the back. These are folks from United Steelworkers. These are his most ardent fans, acolytes, supporters. Look at the look of horror. Look at the look of, what am I doing here? I'm telling you again, hostage videos, people who've issued statements against their will, as part of being, ambushed or kidnapped, show more alacrity and effervescence than these poor folks. All right.
He flew those single engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea. And
okay.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, they called him Bosie.
Bosie, okay, Bosie. He's drifting off. Okay, let's talk a couple of things here. First and foremost, he said, and again, this is not true. This is not true, and it never happened. I mean, it sort of happened, but cannibals, we're not. How do we say this? We're not going to be speaking about this. The problem that people are having with this is that, yes, there was a time when it was suspected that there was something called mortuary feeding. This is a feasting, I should say. This is something which is a past. This was in the 30s, maybe in the 50s. This mortuary feasting when, and I find this to be absolutely fascinating, when the individuals who were involved in this, member of in PNG, Papua New Guinea, the Melanesian folks, would actually consume the bodies of fallen or dead relatives to keep them from decomposition. It is, I don't know about you, but fascinating. What was that line? No greater love has, in any event. Just think, so if Uncle, Harry died, it was considered the, I don't know how common it was, but by the way, it's a fascinating story because, as you know, this kind of behavior was also linked to proteinaceous infections or prion disease. These spongiform diseases like mad cow, those type of encephalitis like Creutzfeldt-Jakob syndrome, and just it's a whole other story. Kuru. Does that name ring a bell? Kuru? We're not going to go back to those dark days of mystery in a political commentary, but for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you might remember that name being popped up or suggested. But here is the thing. Again, this is very, very sad. Listen to this. I don't know what the word is. This hesitancy, the whispering voice, the very kind of like a out of breath intonations.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, they called him Bosie. My Uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Now, this, as you can imagine, dear friends, this was not met with a lot of excitement on the part of some Melanesian folks who look at it as a bit of a slight, for lack of a better word, a bit of a slight, because it's yes, that was then, but you're kind of bringing this up now, and it's important very specifically that America tries to reassert its association with PNG as it has recently with China. Now, interestingly enough, and by the way, I'm putting a link to a wonderful article on this subject. It seems that there was some type of a review done to see what exactly happened. According to the Pentagon's Defense POW MIA accounting agency, Joe Biden's uncle died on May the 14th, 1944, while he was a passenger on an A-20 Havoc aircraft that apparently had departed from Los Negros Island bound for New Guinea. And this was the agency said, quote, for reasons or unknown reasons, this plane was forced to ditch in the ocean off the north coast of New Guinea. Both engines failed at low altitude, and the aircraft's nose hit the water hard. 3 men failed to emerge from the sinking wreck and were lost in the crash. 1 crew member survived and was rescued by a passing barge. An aerial search the next day found no trace of the missing aircraft or lost crew members or anything in reference to cannibalism and the like. And yes, there was his uncle, his brave uncle, Second Lieutenant Ambrose J. Finnegan, Uncle Bosie. Now, Is this the end of the world for us? No, no. But what this goes to show you is this is an example yet again of how the Biden administration has no clue as to what he does, as to what he says. It has no control over these lapses, these whispering kind of corn pop moments where he remembers something. Keep in mind also that every time he has to speak, it was rumored, heavily rumored, that he was blasted with a concoction of Adderall and B12 and a variety of other little stimulants, little go-go juice to get him going, because right now he is in the fight of his life. As I record this, there are 200 days until the election. And meanwhile, President Trump, and this is the best part, while he might appear to be sometimes to someone less than energetic, I don't know where he is, he might have dozed off at some particular point, as it happens to many of us from time to time. Nothing can even approximate this. Nothing can approximate this man and his complete and total detachment, from what appears to be this word that we reference called reality.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, they called him Bosie. My uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came.
He became an Army Air Corps. Not a corpsman, but he became the Air Corps itself, this man.
He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Again, the faces of the people behind him. The faces of the people behind him. The look of stupefaction, disgust, embarrassment, and complete confusion as to why am I here? What am I doing? What is the purpose of this? Thank you for watching. Do what you must, do what you can, do what you think is right this coming election season. I think you know what to do. Thank you very much for watching this. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And whatever you do, I ask you, dear friend and great patriot, to comment as you see fit.